Hey, what's up? We are back again. It is the Dirty South Podcast. Yours truly, Ward Wrestling, with my man Brant from Cabra, Jason from SC Wrestle,
Not his
and
man today, though.
not his man today. He is my man. But man, what a week we had. So much stuff was happening last week. Uh man, the Colby, the Greco, uh you said there was some sectionals going on or regionals or
Tri-County and Flagler here, and then postseason has started in Georgia and Alabama.
in
Yeah,
Georgia.
It's
where
time. I mean, the girls' regular season ends in 3 days in Florida. So
yeah, and we're in the postseason, which weather has killed the the schedule up
now, was there
here.
a lot canceled from like the snow? People make fun of the South, but when it snows, we aren't equipped for it. Was there like maneuvering, canceling,
Yeah, so
postponements?
so everything in Georgia was supposed to happen last Friday for the boys, on Saturday for the girls, and then they seed their tournaments. So you would have seeding that would occur by Sunday. You would drop the brackets on Sunday, and then well, no, seeding, not seeding in Georgia, but they would drop the brackets, and all that. They have formulas just like Florida does. And then I could start working on all of the sectional, guides and all that sort of stuff and everything else. But like last night, Wednesday night, the last region, which is a district in Florida, got wrestled.
Wow.
So you have wrestling happening on Wednesday. You're dropping the bracket today. They start wrestling tomorrow.
wow,
So
which is unbelievable. But I think I think one thing we should talk about before we start and get into everything that happened last week
well,
is
we've restarted a few times, guys. Just so you know.
I don't remember what we've
but
talked about and what we haven't.
but isn't it refreshing to see two teams like South Dade and Mater Lakes come together, champ versus champ? I know we talk about it. I know we talked about this off the show. Like for this should happen more often, right?
And for those that don't know, Florida State duels happened
Yeah.
on what, a week and a half, a little over almost 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
on Saturday. On that Thursday, which is a week ago today, Matter Lakes Class 1A state champions went and faced South Dade, 8-time Class 3A state champions. Matter Lakes is 2-time 1A, and they wrestled in a duel, and Matter Lakes won it. I'd say convincingly is probably a good description of it. It wasn't a shock to me anything that happened in it, um, just the way it lined up and everything. But the main thing, and we've talked about this a few times, and you guys haven't heard those versions, was how great this is for the sport that these teams put something like this on the line. They had it scheduled. They're like, all right, we won. We'll go and see, kudos to South Dade for putting themselves out there, knowing that they're younger and not as deep as they've been. Kudos to Matter Lakes for taking their team and going down there and taking care of business in a hostile away gym. Just fantastic all around to have
Yeah.
something like that happen. And it certainly does well to promote the
Yeah,
sport.
and
And
I hope they continue to do it, right? 2 years ago they did it. Um, they did it again this year. And I know we spoke about, just matchups like this happening would be great.
Well, I mean, I think that yeah, in a world where where at least
in a world where
in college wrestling where people medically forfeit. I mean, they medically forfeit out because they're worried about the seating or whatever. I mean, look, this is only good for the sport. Is you have the 1A champ and the 3A champ getting together and doing a duel.
and they
Pro,
had full lineups. I mean,
right,
if everybody was, if they were healthy, they wrestled,
right. I
and
mean,
and,
and
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 that's fantastic.
and throw Lake Gibson in with those two, and I mean, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, the point is that you get just some really good competition, some really good wrestling, and the opportunity to really promote the sport. You know what I mean? I mean, it's in a world where again in a world where
In a world
um
where
you know we're looking at college football and you you don't want to schedule the Big Ten or the SEC outside of whatever. You take a cupcake schedule because you're going to have a really tough, schedule otherwise. You know, you want to make the playoffs, and we've seen. I mean, Miami making the playoffs from the number 10 spot, making a run. Any of those teams can win, right? So
Well,
it
how many of
doesn't
those? I mean,
benefit them to take those games.
to
And
to kind of what you're saying is, and the college football analogy is great, is, and we don't have to worry about that here. But there's so many teams that are getting penalized for being 10-2 instead of 11-1, but their second loss is on the road, at Ohio State or at
right.
Right.
Oregon or whatever, that and thankfully here there's no penalty at all. I mean, we don't have any seating in anything. So to go out and put all that on the line, it's
I
I
mean, it's
Yeah,
great for the sport.
it is. And
and
listen,
when also, like, we kind of, I brought it up earlier, but no one heard it. Colby Singletary, 144-pound bracket. Those guys, I
yes.
don't think they're all 144.
Uh,
Um, and they all got in there, and you had three state champions, multiple state champions battling it out, and it was just fantastic, and it's exciting, and it's enough, like, to where we're group texting about it because it's exciting, and I love, and those guys that moved up just for that challenge,
the two, I
fantastic, and
mean, the two
you see it time and
matches. Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I mean, I was Matt's side for the semifinal match with Lincoln and Jake, and then the finals match with Lincoln and Solis. And neither one of them disappointed. I mean, the Lincoln Jake match was all action. I mean, all action. It was 10-8 Lincoln with Jake on the legs, try almost getting there when time ran out. Lincoln wins that match. And then we have two.
Did you see the video?
Yes, I saw the video that you had posted, but I was actually there and watched it live. And
No, video is
these
better
two,
than you live. Come on.
these two guys, these two guys had so much respect for each other that they might as well have just sat there and held hands for 3 periods. It was it was like, I mean, they really did. They were very tentative. There was a quick shot there was a quick scramble in period one where Solis almost had him in a headlock, Lincoln, and Lincoln rolled out of it. And then it was just a lot of feeling out. And then it goes to sudden victory. And we saw the scramble that turned into a win for Lincoln. But man, kudos to the Colby and Blaine Eisen and those two. I mean, it's my first time getting a chance to go down there and be a part of that tournament. Um, so thank you to Eisen for inviting me down there and taking good care of me. And wow, what a tournament! And they're going to have to get a bigger space. I mean, he's just got so many people involved. But the one thing that was really cool about the whole tournament, forget all the amazing, and we can talk about the Colby. I have all the stuff here, but
And
listening,
we are, but I'm glad you can tell
yes,
the
but
story.
listening to Mama Singletary speak before the finals just tugs at your heart. You get a lump in your throat listening to her speak and talk to the families in the crowd and talk about what obviously took place with her child and what she preaches about wearing your seatbelt, not messing with your telephone, paying attention when you're driving. And you could hear her choke up as she's speaking about this. And then looking in the stands and seeing everybody attent and alert listening to her, because you know how fans can be and kids in the gym, but nobody in the gym was speaking. Everything went silent, and we listened to mom speak, and it was great. They have a big foundation that they do. They give away, I think they give away over $30,000 in scholarships every year. And this year they gave one to Ailey Briggs and one to Kale Seneca,
Mhm.
and it was just the greatest part of the weekend was listening to her. As great as the wrestling was, God bless that family and what she's doing in the memory of her son.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's actually one of those things that I was thinking about because, there are memorial tournaments out there and they kind of if you lose your coach who kind of really made that connection to it, you can lose the momentum of the tournament, or it can go away because the new coach that comes in doesn't have that connection to why that memorial was happening. I know that happened when I was at Gateway High School. Um, and the fact that Coach Ison, is still doing everything in his power to make sure that Singletary is happening, and I mean, one, it's a great tournament as far as the quality of the wrestling, but it's a story that needs to be told. I mean, we need to talk about that thing, those things. We need to talk about other issues that are happening. I mean, I don't know that you do it right. We have to do it right in front of everyone at a wrestling tournament, but if that's the opportunity, then you take it. And I think that it's really good that people are still you know involved in doing it and everything else. I just have seen too many memorial tournaments kind of unfortunately go away, and I don't know what the stories were. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, shout out to him, and you had the assistant from Lemon Bay that was highly involved in helping, and you had Mrs. Austin, and you had Basucci, and they all really made this tournament run unbelievable, and we'll talk about the
And
wrestling, I'm sure, at some point, but
just to
I
also
wanted
just
to
kind of
get that out there.
piggyback on you guys. I mean, just unthinkable, unspeakable, unbelievable having to go through that tragedy. I can't even imagine it.
Yeah,
Um, but to find the strength in it to um, help others not have to go through what you're going through, and I think that's a real um, statement for what they're doing by creating this and speaking out and teaching an audience that needs to hear those things. So
absolutely.
so all props to the family to try and take the most awful tragedy and try to find some good in it to help
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, and we all have children that drive, right? We all have children that have licenses, and we all feel that anxiety when they leave the house in the morning and when they're on the road, and we're tracking them on Life 360, and we just pray that they go they get to school safely, they get home safely, they get to their job safely, their athletic safely, and they come home. And it's one thing that I tried to tell my children is the most important thing is getting home at night or getting to the location. If you're late for work, just be late for work. If they
Right.
fire you, it's better than being
I mean, now
be
don't put yourself in that
circumcised.
situation where you're
Yeah.
leaving five
No,
minutes
no,
before freaking
no.
being
Right,
at
right.
work,
But
but
what I'm saying is there's no need to speed to get there. There's no need to speed to get here.
agreed. Agreed.
Just get to where you have to get safely. And if you have to pay the consequences for being late, or your actions cause you to get in trouble, that's okay. But that's better than obviously what this family's going through. And
So
shout
let's
out to them.
And
So
also, thank goodness my parents didn't have Life 360 when I was growing up.
I was actually
yeah,
going to
Oh
say
my
that, Brant.
goodness.
Thank goodness cell phones didn't exist.
Yes.
yeah,
All right, so let's pivot back to the actual wrestling
Yes.
at the Colby Singletary. Obviously, Dan, you talked about the 144 with Solis and Lincoln, Jake Austin. I mean, we can't forget K Super, who was Hopper,
Hopper.
who
Ace
was
Hopper. Yeah,
who,
he had a wonderful tournament. A wonderful tournament. I saw him at Wawa afterwards as the tournament ended and I was leaving to come back. He was at Wawa getting a sandwich and all his buddies were there. And I yelled at him, "Hey, Case, what's up?" He said, "What's up, Ward?" I said, "I can't believe you didn't win that bracket. What is wrong with you?" And he started laughing. I mean, listen, there was Case Hopper and then state champ, state champ, state champ, one from every classification.
well, and
Uh,
not just state champ. I mean, we're
Like,
talking about like kids who are ranked in the nation. I mean,
and two of them won Fargo.
yeah.
right? Yeah. All right. So,
Uh,
so if I were to ask you, Dan, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
If I was going to ask you, what is one weight besides 44 that like stuck out?
we're going to talk about the boys right now, right?
Boys right now, yeah.
Okay. Um, there
You
was
get one weight. I know you're going to take
Oh,
three.
we gonna get one.
No.
Well, I'm going to give you one weight. Focus on one so that Brant can do one, and then if we need to talk about more, we will.
Okay, I would probably gonna go 120.
120.
The Koa Deloach Eric Bush finals was really good. I mean, I have another one, but you said I can only pick one because
Well, right now, just pick one, so you don't, because otherwise you're going to list off six, and Brent's going to go, "Well, I had like four of those."
okay, I'll say the 120 finals with Koa and
4-2,
Koa and Eric
four
Bush.
two
That was
final battle back and forth. All right, all right. What
not a
about what
back and
about you,
forth.
Brent?
I'll go up a weight, 126.
That's the one I
Uh,
was thinking about too. Good job.
oh, thank you. Eric Perez wins. I talk about loaded brackets. Knocks off Jose Calava from South Dade in the final, who somehow was the fifth seed here. He beats Luke and Zerka in the semifinals or in the quarterfinals 4-2, then beats Kyle Seneca in the semis, gets to the finals and loses to Perez there. Perez gets there, beating Christopher Smith and Jalal Naguib, a teammate
His
of his,
teammate.
who is having a great season also. I mean, just both of those paths to that final, and then a 15-13 final. You can probably speak more about how that was watching it, Dan. But I mean, that had to
Action
be
packed.
crazy.
Action packed. Yes. It was action packed. They both were, I mean, it was very fun to watch.
And
Those
So
I'm
two
gonna
kids
steal. I'm gonna do
battle.
one more, and then you can have a second one because
well, hang on, I want one.
Oh, that's right. You get one.
And
You
you
got to
get
jump
one,
on this
and
stuff.
you get one, and you get one, and you get
So
one,
you
and you
get
get
two, and
one.
then
So
we'll,
I
we'll
so I actually don't I don't want to highlight a final. I actually what I want to do is I want to throw out a couple names in that like a Grayson McDonald who made a run to make the finals, like a Brian Battles, out of Toho, who had some really good wins and gets the finals. Obviously loses a tough one to Moreno. Those I love those stories of kids that we haven't talked about a whole lot who make a run and show that they're on this level. All right, back to you, Brant.
um. Well, I wanted to point out a single final that we're going to see again, and that is Blake Elder and Jackson Newton,
Yep.
Jensen Beach, and Charlotte. They keep meeting and they keep having down to the wire matches, and this is just yet another one. Got a chance to talk to Blake a little bit um, at state duels. He came over, he talked to Goog and me about some of his colleges he's looking at, and two guys that both deserve a title. Only one's going to get one, and like I said, we're going to see them wrestle. I would imagine, hopefully in the finals, if the brackets work out in March.
That's the one part of it that I wish you seeded.
Yes.
So, Daniel.
There's a few things. I was very impressed with Archbishop McCarthy as a whole. A lot of great kids, a lot of tough kids. One guy that I was gonna mention was Brian Battles. I was very impressed watching him go to the tournament. Um, a big win for Siegel coming off of a tough loss against Graham. He goes and beats Motor.
And Battles did win. Okay. That's at least according to the bracket.
Battles did win?
You kind of threw me
Yes.
off that when you said
Yeah.
Oh,
Battles
well,
won.
I'm sorry. My mistake. I was
Yeah.
reading what Dan sent me, and it had it on the line for
It
Jonathan Moreno. So that's the
no,
reason
it
I was
no,
reading
it
it that
does
way.
not. It says highlighted green is Brian Battles, which means state champion. I mean, which means he won.
My
See it
fault.
highlighted green?
Apologies to Brian. In fact, that's a great win then.
that's a huge win.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So Bear Siegel coming off a loss to Graham, getting a big win. I think it was Motor, right? Grant?
See, so that was the other one I was going to talk about. 175 for Class 1A.
Yeah.
You have
Bacon.
and it gets win by three. It gets won by 3-8. Tyree Graham's update. Jacob Bacon, huge weekend. He beat Motor in the quarters 10 by sudden victory 4-1. He beat Bennett Schweitzer from Bishop Verot
Yeah.
3-2 to reach the finals. Siegel, as you talked about, also made the semifinals. He beat Jordan Hagler out of Florida High at 7-6. I believe that was a rematch from an earlier loss for him. But when you have guys like Hagler and
And then he beat
Motor,
Motor, right?
yeah, no, he didn't. Well, I mean, on the consolation side, yes, he did
Right.
4-2.
Right. So
When you
that's
have that, when you have
a good
as
win.
you have 1A guys that could win a state title, finishing fifth and sixth in this tournament, um, and five of the six placers were 1A. Just fantastic depth of getting the best, and that's a weight class that I feel is wide open on the 1A side,
Yeah.
and just great to see them get to battle it
Right.
out a little
And
bit
then
before March.
right, the one kid I haven't really gotten to see this kid wrestle. Um, is I'm going to screw this up, but Baskin Zerka, Bakin Zerka, Beckham Zerka, whatever Zerka, one of the triplets.
One of the
Uh,
three.
I got to
Are they
watch him
triplets or are
wrestle.
they quadruplets?
Who
Oh,
knows?
okay,
There's
one of
a
the four.
bunch of them, but wow, what a tournament he had! What a tournament he had, and he was very fun to watch. Um, yeah, that
Beat
was a
Caleb
kid that
Williams and Carlos Sainz. That's a pretty good back to back and
So
final two rounds.
question. So I don't see little Fiore in the field.
He
nope, I
was
didn't see
not.
him there either.
He was not in it.
All
He was
right,
not there.
so I don't know why he wasn't there. I have no clue, but I will say that uh we're in early February. I completely understand that that different individuals has probably gotten nicked up along the way. They might be battling this issue or that issue. Who knows? I mean, the flu always seems to go around during like,
I know
Christmas
some teams are
time.
decimated right now from
Who
the.
is?
I know some teams that are just right now.
Yeah.
They
So
are completely like hardly even able to run practice because so many are out because of the flu.
yeah. So I don't know why he wasn't there, but the truth is that I just wanted to point out that we kind of get an understanding that sometimes these things happen, and they're really, I mean, they're preparing to make a run for a state title. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. So, if they're kind of figuring out, what gives them the best opportunity to do so, and if that means missing even a tournament of this magnitude, while we on the sidelines are saddened by not seeing them compete against these other outstanding individuals, we understand why that occurs.
Yes. Um, also,
Dan was
that
just
being
waiting for me to
said,
finish my
Yeah.
my monologue.
yes, you did a great job. I really, really love it. Um, we did have, first of all, we had the girls at Colby Covington as well. Colby
At the
Singletary
Colby Covington.
at the Colby Singletary as well. And
Oh, he's pushing the RAF.
all the, yeah, all the finals, all the finals were mostly one-sided, um, except Zoe McDonald versus Jaslyn Diaz. Unbelievable war out there.
Well, and those
Jaslyn,
two have gone back and forth, haven't they?
right? Jaslyn won at the knockout,
Yeah.
and Zoe wins here at Colby. What a match! I just got to say that could be. I know
I
we
would say
have
Diaz
Cam.
was 2-0 before 2-0 that I know of before that match.
Right. So
between the
I
two.
know Camden Elliott is in the mix. But man, this
In
that
fact, they
could be
wrestled in the
a
finals at the knockout and at the Braves.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this could. I mean, this could
And
definitely
Elliott is
be
now
a
officially at 110.
right. So I obviously she's a stud as well. But could this be a preview of the finals? It certainly could be. Um,
Or a really
Camden
good
Elliott,
semi.
or really right, depending on there, or and then
Well, they're in the
obviously
same they're in the same region, right?
Oh
yeah.
yeah. So
So
the
they
most
if they're going to meet, they're
and
going to
with
probably meet for third and fourth or the finals.
yeah, and with region seeding,
Right.
yeah, so they wouldn't meet in
Well,
the semis.
but obviously, and we know how good Camden Elliott is coming off a state championship, so she's going to be in the mix. So there's going to be three. Those three are going to put on some fireworks. That's awesome. One thing I know we're going to get into some other wrestling, um, but the one thing that I did want to mention, and let me look this up so I get it correctly.
Well, as you're mentioning that, because Dan provided us all of the rankings from Cabo rankings for the girls, we appreciate. I love the fact that we look when we see Raylan Kirsch from Charlotte, Brianna Ewers from Northport, Amelia Parizo from Braden River, Olivia Reynolds from Port Charlotte, and Carla Sierra from Fort Myers, who all weren't ranked and yet
Yeah.
made the finals. And I think that's pretty cool.
It's awesome. Yeah, and a young girl in Addison Nofeld who
Mm.
unfortunately ran into Rebecca Marin, who's having an okay season.
Hmm.
She's been she's
She's
been
she's a little
just
tough.
she's a little tough, but I think with young girls like Addison Newfeld out there, we're gonna bright future. But yeah, it was fun to watch. I agree with you. Um,
What were you gonna bring up?
so yeah, before we move on, I mean, we had unfortunately I was at the Colby and the Greco was going on, but there was a number seven versus number two in the country with Malvern Prep and Lake Highland Prep that happened right here in Orlando on Flow Wrestling, and I believe Lake Highland Prep won that one. But speaking of getting some really good matchups here in the state, um, that happened during lunchtime at Lake Highland Prep. So I bet you they had quite a crowd. I don't know if
Hmm.
anybody um, saw the rundown of that, but
I
uh,
saw Seamus send me a thing about a big win he had at his weight, so I know that occurred, which is fantastic. And shout out to Seamus Reagan, the newest addition to the Highlanders at Lake Island
yeah,
Prep.
and I mean the big thing that was promoted was DeCraker versus O'Neill, number five versus number two. I believe DeCraker won that one. But man, shout out to Lake Highland Prep for making stuff like that happen here in our state. And I mean, it's too bad that more of us weren't able to be there, but good for them. And I know they've got more of these matchups that are happening in our state, and they have been going out. They've been to Blair. They're
Mhm.
going out to another powerhouse. So sometimes we're in the midst of this high school season with everything that's going on, and we forget that there's a national powerhouse right in our backyard, and they're
Yeah.
doing some great things.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, there's all three of us are talking about this, and like we could spend all day just talking about it. That's how much information is going on. And for me, I love the entire breadth of it. I mean, I love the fact that we have the top level program in the country or one of the top level programs in the country. But I also love the fact that you get down to these brand new programs or these rebuilding programs and watching these kids, continue to get better and develop and everything else. Um, you know, I'm not a big fan of a lot of classifications, but in Alabama, I was doing the seating last night, or I was looking through the seating last night, and there are teams now that have full lineups in small little communities in the state of Alabama that never had wrestling before. They never had it. Like 2 years ago, this program did not exist. That is cool. Like that is what I mean. For me, growing the sport, that is so awesome. And is it at the level of what we're talking about with Lake Island Prep? We're not
No,
making even it's not even a comparison. That's not what this discussion is about. It's about continuing to offer the best sport in the world to as many kids as you possibly can.
right. I mean, if little kids get to go and watch that duel at Lake Highland Prep, do they walk out of there going, "Man, I want to do that when I grow up," right?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, and one of the last things I will say as far as we're talking about elite, well, or maybe future elite programs and that sort of thing, IMG Academy, man. We talked to Coach Francois not that long ago, Dr. Francois not that long ago. He said there were things on the horizon They hired head coach Kevin Jack, NC State, fantastic. And just recently, somebody I know actually pretty decently, and that is Scotty Boykin, who wrestled at UTC and is an assistant at Cornell, is now one of the assistant coaches. And Scott Joel out of North Carolina is now one of the assistant coaches as well. So you have a college level staff that is now at IMG. Woo!
Yeah, and by the way, Dr. Francois earned his PhD by knowing more about the Southeast than Brant and I do. So shout out to
Dr.
him for,
Francois.
yeah,
All doctors.
he got his PhD by understanding the Southeast outside of Florida, where Brant and I
That's a
really need to.
deep joke. That is a
I
really
understand. I
deep
got you.
joke.
Fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
very deep reference right there.
So Brant and I are still working on that. Once we get into our other states, maybe we can get our certified PhD.
You know what?
Um,
You can't spell PhD, so I don't have to worry about you
But
actually having one.
talking
correct.
about other states, I'm going to put Jason on the stand now. Catch us up on what to watch in Alabama, what to watch in Georgia, and if there's anything that has surprised already or could surprise this coming weekend.
Yeah, I think that one of the things is you got sectionals coming up. So sectionals in Georgia are sectionals actually in both states are basically your regionals for in the state of Florida. And it's not dissimilar to what you see in the state of Florida. You get to this postseason and kids are contacting one another because like one kid shows up at a weight and everybody else goes away from it when we get to the postseason, which creates other weight classes that are
Yes.
super fun to watch because nobody wants to wrestle so and so
Right.
at this particular weight. Look, I don't think that there's anything you want to watch something you can watch Camden roll through everybody again, but there's not going to be a competition for the state title as far as the team goes. Um, but there are places around the state where I think that there's going to be some really good team races to see. Woodland versus Cass that was their state dual final. Those two teams will battle it out again this weekend in sectionals. They'll battle out again in the state tournament. Um, you have a 2A in Georgia that is filled with a bunch of teams that can all battle with one another. That'll be fantastic. South Effingham and Creekview, which I talked about on the after the state duels, where it came down to what 5 straight pins for Creekview to win by a single
Yes.
point in that state duel final. Those two teams will battle it out. Um, and then over in Alabama, one of the things I just said it, and I wanted to make sure I said it before, and that is the growth of the number of programs, especially in the small communities across the state of Alabama, is just fantastic. And and I think I'm not a big fan of the number of classifications that either Alabama or Georgia has. But if that grows the sport and that gets more kids involved and more kids engaged and participating, I think that's great. And the last thing I would say in the state of Alabama is, just like in the state of Georgia, just like in the state of Florida, like you go and watch the best kids compete, man. John Stewart out of Scottsboro, Bradley Williams, who will go to the University of Maryland and be a Maryland Terrapin out of Spain Park. Kids over in Georgia, if you haven't seen Uriah Mills wrestle, dude, you got to go watch Uriah Mills wrestle. He is unbelievable. There's discussion about this young freshman that he's the best high school wrestler in the country. I mean, and I'm not saying he is. I mean, Bo Bassett and all these different individuals in the conversation, but Uriah is a freshman, man, and
And
he is
listen,
on
and he
another level.
every tournament that he's been to, he comes away on the top of the podium. And that's not just local stuff. I mean,
That's
that's
world champions.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a lot like we saw from Bo Bassett when he was coming up seventh, eighth, and ninth grade, right? We saw Bo Bassett win a Fargo, win an NHSCA, win a Super 32, win a world title. And we're seeing that same track with Araya, and it's been impressive to watch.
Yeah, and you're gonna, what's always interesting to watch is that you get to watch the kids, the Ryder Wilders who you've been watching for a long time, and now they're seniors. right? It's the same sort of thing in the state of Florida. You're watching kids that you've watched for a long time win state titles, and now, they're seniors, or, state of Alabama. It's a lot of fun to watch, and it's really fun to kind of pick out and see who are the next group that are going to start pushing the top of the podium and all these individuals. So it's great. I don't know if I adequately captured kind of what's happening, but it's a
Can you
busy, busy weekend and it's
can you
fun.
just can you say that word again?
Adequately?
Adequate. Okay, good. I just making sure you're.
You're a jackass.
um, well, as far as back to Florida now, Grant. I mean, there was
Yeah.
another huge tournament going on, another memorial tournament
Yeah.
for young Greco. The Live Greco is going on, and there was a lot of fireworks there too, huh?
Yeah,
Before you get
yeah.
into the wrestling, if people don't know the background, do you want to share that or no?
Sure, share it.
Yeah, go
Share
ahead.
away.
Well, so Greco is Buzekis is was the youngest of the crew, of the Buzekis crew. Nick and Jacqueline and Vince and I don't know if there are any other kids as far as I just know them. And for a long time, especially when they were here in the state of Florida, he was battling, and it really became a big part of the Florida community, the Florida wrestling community. Um, and this is another testament. Even though the Bezekas crew now is, I don't know, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. I mean, Nick's at Ohio State, Vince is at Pittsburgh. I don't know if Jacqueline's in North Carolina or not. But you know what? We feel very connected to that story and being a part of kind of that process. So I'm glad to see it continue as well.
And it does, and they ask me to come every year, and every year, maybe next year will be different, but it's the same weekend as my daughter being in an all county concert, which she is now a senior, so no more all county concerts for me um on Saturday nights. But yeah, the one that stuck out to me was 106. Robert Friedhoff of Jesuit, Alzheimer Ortiz of Steinbrenner, 15 to 14, two of the best. Ortiz is my number one in 3A. Robert of Jesuit, he's two or three, I think, in my rankings there. And battling out, and I can just imagine watching two
15.
106s go to a 15 to 14 score. It had to be so much fun to watch, and certainly one that stuck out to me. Another one was Aaron McCarty of Robinson battling with Luke Palukatias of Pule. I should have read that before I did it. Palukatis of Steinbrenner. They go 5-4. Big win for McCarty. And also just these kids in Florida get a chance. Some of them got to wrestle against some Lake Highland kids too. They didn't send maybe their full roster, but they sent some of their top guys over there and competed. They compete there every year. They send
Right. Because
some
of that
semblance of
connection
a
that we're
team
talking
there
about.
to wrestle every year. Really great event, and and some good performances. What stuck out to you guys in it? Or
I mean, obviously not. I mean, obviously, I like those guys over at George Jenkins, but regardless of that, you can't look past 144 and seeing what Xavius Brown did coming through at. He was ranked 20th in the state coming into this tournament, and a bracket with Kersall and Lopez and Clint Plotner and Nelson Hughes, and he comes through that bracket and ends up on the top of the podium. So,
Those are
I
some,
mean,
yeah, that's a good bracket. Those
yeah.
names, they're
So
solid.
shout out to him. The kid is when he's on, he does things like that. When he's off, he doesn't do things like that. But
That's all kids, man.
yeah,
I don't know how many times I'm like, why can't these kids just keep doing the same thing every week? It would,
yeah,
I
and he's a
can't.
tough kid. His older brother was Rod, who we know well, who made a lot of state runs for George
Oh, is that
Jenkins,
who that I didn't know?
and
Okay.
Roderick Brown, and he's up in college now. But that's the I mean, that might have been the best run of the tournament, right? I mean, I would think so. And then
Certainly a great run, especially coming from where he came, which I feel like he was of course I think this, but I think he was accurately ranked coming in there and really just put on a display, which the coaches have probably seen in the practice room waiting for that to happen, but just knocked off, every hurdle in his way on that weekend.
Yeah, so shout out
Um,
to him. And then obviously shout out to Southwest Miami
yeah.
winning over Jesuit, the team title there. But man, it the elite that weren't at Colby were here. So it was like
Well, I
um
mean, Southwest Miami, Tampa Jesuit. I mean,
yeah.
we're
Well,
not
slow
talking.
down a little bit because there were some good teams uh, at Olympic Heights and also at Flagler. Mac Andrews, maybe one of the wins of the weekend, beating Connor Bonney 8-4 in the final at 175. Uh,
Huge,
that's a big win. That's
huge.
they met a few times over the summer. It's a chance for him to kind of make a statement in a very tough 175, especially if Tyree stays there.
You
Um,
said you said that was at Olympic Heights.
at Olympic Heights,
At
the
the
Tri-County
Tri-County.
Invitational. Tomas Campion of Columbus wins a great match against Imrad Zabrelov of Miami Beach at
Ooh, nice.
157. Um, two guys
I,
ranked in the top five meeting in the final there. Battle to a great 11-8 match. Team wise, uh, Columbus takes the win over South Plantation, Southridge, Palmetto, Cardinal Gibbons, Wellington, all chasing after Columbus. Columbus comes away.
and this was at Olympic Heights.
Yes, the Tri County.
Wow.
One more time, Dan.
The Tri-County. Well, I didn't know if the Tri-County and Olympic Heights were the same thing. He
Same
said
thing.
he said that at the Tri-County and Olympic Heights were great elite tournaments. So I
I'm a
thought they
writer. I don't like
were
to use the same
I
word.
thought they were the two different tournaments, but I guess the
And
Tri-County happened at Olympic Heights and
it did.
wow. Wow,
You
that
can
was
see
some good
all you every
matchups.
week. You can see the schedule at
Yeah.
CaboWrestling.com. And Flagler Rotary was this weekend. Haggerty gets the win there. Flagler Palm Coast there. Tokoi Creek, Harmony, New Smyrna Beach, Winter Springs, Oakleaf. Another set. Pace was there. They only had 7 of their wrestlers there, but they brought some of their guys there. Um, so
It's a trek.
the 40th annual Flagler Rotary tournament, and so that's a big one. I'm trying to look through here real quick. I have my notes from doing my rankings through there to see which ones kind of stood out. Championships were all kind of went chalk, but we talked about him last week. We'll talk about him again. Benjamin Wolgamuth, Haggerty knocks off Nikita Chevkovsky, 7-3
Oh,
in the finals. Another big weekend for him. Marcus Bowie of Sandalwood, who was undefeated coming into the weekend, was in that weight class. Really tough 65 and a win for him. And Renzo Cooligan at 285, continuing to show that he may be the guy to beat in 285. Goes against Joe Logan of Deland, who was 27-1 coming into the finals and earned the pin there.
Yeah, I mean the kid just keeping it cool again.
you're such a hooligan.
Yeah.
There's girl stuff too. Like I said, every wrestler I think wrestled this past weekend. If you follow my rankings, we added records this week thanks to like the 100 coaches that sent me information.
That's great. I
Yeah,
mean, for me, records. I mean,
records
it's
don't
just a
mean
data point. You take it with a grain of salt. But I love seeing them.
I will tell anybody that questions because I've gotten so many emails, but not in this week on records, just on some other stuff. I don't look at records for rankings
Right.
ever. I use it as a reference. If someone has a good record that I maybe wasn't following, then I'll be like, oh, maybe I need to put them on my watch list or whatever. Records mean nothing. I guess I know what schools have wrestled, so
Right.
I know maybe how hard the schedule is. So maybe a record, you see
Ha-
someone
It
at a
it
you
it,
see
it
someone at a
tells you
school who's
something.
wrestled a hard schedule and they've got a good record.
Right.
But just because you're 28-1, 29-1, I look at see who you faced and those kind of things. But it pretties up the rankings. People like seeing the numbers. It's a good reference.
Everybody loves a record.
and so I appreciate the coaches reaching out and coaches reaching out and telling me stories and giving me insight and telling me, who's been hurt, who's coming back, who's out, those kind of things. Just a huge benefit,
Yeah.
and I appreciate them doing that. And I'll
Well, one of
probably
the things
ask
I
them
use
again.
records for when I'm writing the previews is that I'll see a kid has two losses, and I'll immediately go, "Oh, who did
Let
he
me see
lose
who
to?
those two losses
Who are
are
those
to.
two
Yeah.
losses to?" That's what I
The
want.
one
That's
thing,
what I want to see.
the one thing I use records for is to listen to my favorite songs.
You really? You still have a record
A
player?
record player.
Um,
And we are doing this
I
on
have a
Thursday
question.
morning.
Yes.
We're doing this on
Yes.
Thursday morning. They've already started wrestling down in Miami with the GMAC.
Yeah, the GMAC's already going on.
Going on. I have a question.
Last night we had the PCAC girls. We've got tons of girls tournaments tonight.
Was there any new number ones in the rankings of Cabra? Did anybody new make it to the top of the heap?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm quickly
You're
looking through.
putting him
Someone
on.
someone play some music under me or play me
Well,
out.
you know what? You know what? Since he asked you a question, I'm gonna ask him a question. Dan,
Yes,
who's the
sir.
most exciting wrestler to watch in the state of Florida? Somebody outside of the state of Florida wants to go watch one kid compete in the state of Florida. Who is it?
Wow. The most exciting wrestler to watch in the state of
Not the
Florida.
best necessarily, right? The most exciting. The kid who like you it's awesome to just go watch them compete.
I want to watch boy, girl, one of each.
It doesn't matter. You pick it. And now it's all quiet.
And now he's not carrying.
Giovanni Tovar.
Giovanni Tovar. Because it's death, taxes, and Tovar.
Yes.
He's just fun to watch. He's very methodical. He starts out like he looks like he's in slow motion, and then once he figures you out,
So
it's a slow death.
my kid is Michael Mocco.
Yeah, I was thinking that
And
even
the only
if it
reason being is
doesn't
I just
last long.
love how he's just so different than what we've seen with a
Yes.
lot of heavyweights. So, that's the reason. But I
The
love that.
name, the
I
name,
love
yeah,
Tovar. I think that's a great pick.
the name that came to me, and if you try to watch him, he's not usually on the mat long. Nick Blake,
Mm.
just really,
Very fun to watch.
just his style, the way he wrestles, just uses his body the way he does to put to his advantage. We didn't see him much at state duels. We saw him more at at the knockout. You get to see him wrestle a lot more. But he's athleticism and everything. I think he's one to
Yeah.
watch. And
And
I
and
agree.
I tell you who's I've seen a few times this year, and I thought about it in my head is little Eric Perez. This kid has been a ball of lightning, and watching that 15 whatever match that happened, he's been fun to watch too. And then on the girls' side, there's just so many.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
we'll pick
but
we
I was at the Brant, do you have your answer or no?
for girls.
No, do
I,
you have do you have the number ones? Did they
there's I'd have to go. I mean, there's probably
Okay, so
eight or
you don't
nine.
know.
There's eight or nine
yeah,
number ones that are new. I would
cool.
say
Well,
six of
I'd love
them
to
are
say it,
because
but
six of them are moves where the number one moved out because they changed weights. Um,
Okay.
and then there's a few others that whereas one beat the other, and that's why they're number one. Nothing overly thrilling, but yeah, like eight new number ones this week.
So I want to ask you guys one more question, if that's cool. And that is I didn't give you a chance to answer, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. And that is when I was at the knockout, I was talking with Ryder Wilder and Brock Weaver, and they were I don't know how we got into the conversation, but basically the conversation was what is the best weight class to watch. And obviously it changes, and it obviously changes with different kids and everything else. But the two of them were like, I hate watching like the 6 pounders. You're like, why? Why do you
don't
hate
know.
watching the 6 pounders? They got like tons of energy. And they're like, no, no, no. It's like a bunch of like two middle school kids like wrestling. I mean, like, no, I don't want to
Um,
watch the 6 pounders wrestle. So
weight
and
class?
as a former 6 or 13 pounder or 98 pounder or whatever, I was took offense to that.
as
I
someone
mean,
who hasn't seen 106 since he was 8 years old, um, it's a true story. As when I was growing up, my I've told the story to a lot of people. My dad was a principal at the local high school. They hosted the county wrestling tournament. They hosted what would equivalent to be the district wrestling tournament there. And my dad was on the seating, and he'd bring home brackets. There was a kid there that went to a rival high school that when he was a freshman, he was in 106, and he and I wrestled. And he had just started a sport. And every year I look forward to it because we would roll around beforehand. By the time he was a senior, I was bigger than him, but he was an undefeated state champ and still at 106 or 98 or whatever it was, 103, whatever
Yeah.
it was at
Yeah.
that time in Ohio. But I
Yeah.
wrestled him when he was a freshman, and I was just as good as him, and I was much younger. But by the time he was an undefeated state champ at your weight class, um,
Yeah.
he beat me silly.
listen, if you were asking for a weight class in Florida, I would probably say 100 girls. Um, right
This year.
now, I mean,
This year.
this year,
Right.
100 girls, I would say, come watch. Those girls are tough. They put it online. I mean, those
But is that your most favorite to watch?
this year. But oh, my most favorite to watch in a whole is probably somewhere between 132 and 157. I mean, I
Yeah.
the heart of those weights, because they're not they're not too small, they're not too big. They are strong, athletic, they move fast. It's just I think it's just
The perfect
the
combination.
bread and butter of wrestling is right there, and you get to see a lot of cool action happen. I mean, look, this weekend at 144 at Colby.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, you're right. You're
you
right.
know,
I actually agree with you. I think it's probably right there in the middle as well. So
I was thinking 32, 38, and I was thinking also I would definitely not want to watch 106 if Jason was wrestling.
Yeah. Well, you know
right.
what's funny is that me at 6 was like a 190 pounder at 6. I moved like a 190, not like a 6 pounder. I'm like, I was like,
Right.
stop moving. I'm like, I
I'd
need
have
to
been
grab a
like a
hold of you.
60 or a 7, like between 160 when that 70, whatever that was in high school, because I was just I was primarily a runner then. I was just lanky. It's just skin and
Yeah,
bones. So I would have been
that's crazy.
I'd have been one of those annoying long 160 pounders.
I used to hate wrestling guys who were tall and lanky, man. It's like you'd shoot it and it like draped all over the
Yeah,
place. I'm
that would
like,
have been
what
me.
the heck? All right. So as we wrap this up, things to
Well,
look forward to.
well,
I know
first
that there's a
the
big
GMAC.
duel coming up in Central Florida, right?
Yes, I am going to go to that. But first of all, I know GMACs are going on down south. Look, if you're
Mhm.
in South Florida, it is the best wrestling of the year in South
Thursday,
Florida.
Friday this year.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, right
Right
now.
now as we're
right
recording,
now.
and
So
then
if
Friday the finals.
yeah, so get down there. Yeah, I believe Life U and SEU are 1-2 right now, or 1-3.
I
I
think they're one
mean,
and three
yeah, they're 1-3, and that duel is happening tomorrow night
Friday night,
in the fire pit, baby.
which
But
is a great environment, by the way.
yes,
Great
and
wrestling only.
there will be a pre-battle between Lake Gibson and George Jenkins. And shout out to George Jenkins. I think this is the second year in a row that they've accepted this match. And we all know who Lake Gibson is and how good they are, but to get better, you need to go face guys like this and have your kids kind of be in that environment and feel the excitement. And I think it's great that they're doing that. And shout out to Lake Gibson and George Jenkins. We're going to get to see some high school wrestling right before that. I'm looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, I just texted Coach
Are you gonna
Patrick
go
to
down there?
see. Yes,
You gonna
sir.
be
I
able to
just
get there?
I just texted him to see what time I can get there. So what time all the
Nice.
festivities are starting.
Say that again.
But festivities are
Okay.
starting, and but I have on the Cabra tournament site, it shows there's about 24 or 23
That's it?
events happening this week.
It's conference tournament weekend. Um,
Oh, so we get the Orange Belt Conference with
we've
like
got
six
like
teams or
you got
four
the
teams or
GMAC, we
whatever.
got the BCAAs, the um, Cape Coast Conference here in Brevard, 5-star conference, Manatee County Championships, Metro Conference. The SAC is this weekend in Haggerty.
Seminole Athletic Conference.
Palm Beach
Yeah.
County has theirs.
The
And then you have
Ippolito.
the Ippolito, which is not a county championship. Hillsborough does theirs the last weekend.
And then you got the Lady Eagle for some
Which
girls.
is not a county championship, um, but yeah, so it's mostly counties. Girls
Yeah.
season ends Saturday. A few counties have already done their girls title. That there's a few more each night this week. You do have, as mentioned, the Lady Eagle at George Jenkins
Not a conference tournament.
is not a
Not a
conference tournament.
conference tournament.
And
Nope.
then they start first district in girls is Monday.
So
Oh,
guys, I
yes.
would
So you have the
I,
sack and the pack and the hack and the lack and the DAC and the track
I
and
would,
all
I
that.
would, I would encourage. I love the fact that Jenkins and Gibson are wrestling right
Yes.
before Life and SEU. I would hope that St. Thomas and Kaiser and other college programs are doing similar things. I don't know if they are or they're not. I know up here in Alabama, the University of Montevallo was wrestling. They wrestled someone in their conference, Carolinas Division II team. And right before it was a local high school, Thompson High School, which is your 7A dual state champions. They wrestled a duel against another really, really great team from the state of Alabama. So it's just an opportunity for both the high school kids to kind of see the next level, and it's an opportunity for the college programs to bring out the high school, crowds and, the parents who want to watch it and everything else. It's a win-win. And I think that we should do more of it. So,
And I will tell you, you can go watch Lake Gibson and George Jenkins, and both teams are good. Like Gibson competing for a state championship. But if you watch both, you'll see the level up from high school to NAIA or any of them. You'll get to
that's right.
see you get to see how good that wrestling is in person, and just being and that's why I like when these things happen here in Florida when you have these events, because you make it accessible to them, just like having a couple college teams at the knockout last year. It was the first time I had seen college wrestling that close, with media and everything, and just the level is just so crazy.
It's so awesome.
It's so
dude.
awesome. It's just you're watching 10 matches, and all of them are
They're just so
high
good.
level wrestlers that have
That's right.
grown and gotten stronger in college. And it's such a great experience to be able to see what it's like and then get motivated, be like, that's what I want to go do.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you should totally do it. And you're not talking about two just regular programs. These two programs,
Two of the best.
yeah, they're gonna make a run for a national title the weekend that Florida wrestles for their state title.
Yes.
Both Life and SEU will be in the hunt for an NAIA title. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And we're gonna see, listen, if you're a fan of Florida wrestling, both teams are littered with Florida wrestlers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
And
see
you may
some
not
of,
recognize some of them.
That's
so they're effing huge and
Yes, they are.
just big
Yeah.
time. Yes.
So
They
it's
are,
gonna be
and
fun.
and if you watched them 3 years ago in high school, you're gonna see a different beast.
Yes.
It's true. I was up at Life for the girls' duel with North Central and Life, and I got to see a lot of the boys. They came over and said hello, and I looked at them and I'm like, damn, you guys aren't them little teenagers anymore.
No,
These
they're
guys,
not, man.
they're big, they're strong, they're wide, they're filled in,
Yep.
and they're doing well. And shout out to both Omi and Travis Patrick and their programs. They're really doing
Absolutely.
special things there, and I'm excited to go watch it.
And finally,
So
for
the
me,
the
just in
high
case we're
school
wrapping up,
duel, just
go
real quick,
Georgia wrestlers, go Alabama wrestlers.
the high school duel is at 5. The college duel is at 7. So anybody out there that wants to catch some good wrestling tomorrow night, be there or be square. I don't know. Is that a saying?
And next week, just looking ahead, just so everybody knows, the state tournament for the state of Georgia begins on Wednesday.
Wow.
Wednesday, Thursday are some of the classes, Friday, Saturday are some of the classes. Alabama will have their state duels. I don't think they start on Thursday though. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we will be having this conversation sometime next week, but whether I'm doing it on Wednesday or I'm at the venue covering it, we'll have to work that
In
out.
in Georgia, are the boys and girls in the same venue as well?
Yes.
So you have all 7 classifications and the girls.
over 4
That's the
days.
reason.
That's
That's the
why they
reason you
split
have
it.
to split it into 2 days for 4 classifications and 2 days for 3 of the classifications.
And you said Alabama's doing state duels next weekend?
No, Alabama is their state tournament as well.
State tournament. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I
And
thought.
the
I was like,
girls and the girls and the boys are in the same location there as well at the Von Braun Center up in Huntsville. So busy,
Wow.
man.
yeah.
That
And
is
we will
exciting.
just be getting started here in Florida.
All right, guys. Well, you know what? Since this was our third take, I think we should start again.
Anybody want to
One
say
more
something to
time.
completely soil this podcast at this point?
Yeah.
Hopefully, Daniel uploads the correct version that we've done this time.
Yes.
But
Fingers crossed.
we apologize for it being a day late. That was on me. I had to work. But otherwise, hope everybody has a great
Maybe
weekend,
next
man.
week you'll get one a day early. Who knows?
Peace.
Let's go. Peace. Let me hit the stop button.